March 8th, another episode of the Nightcap.
Riddle me this. All right, Al. I don't know if I'm ready for this one. I don't know if the people are ready for this one.
Oh, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to fight you if you dare besmirch the name of the Batman.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nightcap. Back with another one. Guys. Cheers.
Kicking off an early start of the summer blockbuster movies.
Yep. This has been long awaited, right?
Long pushed back, I believe so. Yeah, just delayed a couple of times due to the unprecedented times.
Yep, that we live in that persist. On the verge of World War III, but hey,
yep.
You guys need these movie reviews, right? So we'll be damned.
That's what's important.
Exactly, that's what's really important right now. But hey, do you, our Ukrainian fans?
Yes,
stay strong.
Be safe. Be safe. While we're paying $9 a gallon for gas.
Putin, that SOB. All right. But let's get into it. We're going to be doing the Batman movie review tonight. But before we get into it, if this is your first time watching the show, guys, I'll go ahead and put up our grading system right now. So feel free to follow along. We like to do a category by category breakdown of movies, giving it a numeric score at the end. So stay tuned for that. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're so interested as well, go ahead and put up our Instagram handle as well, so you guys can follow us along there. But let's get into the meat of it, Al. This is what people want to hear. Let's Batman. The new Batman, right?
For the reboot of the third time.
Reboot of the third time. Man, this is, for our generation, this is the third one, right? This is the fourth one. What am I saying? Forgetting about Ben Affleck there for a second there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just dive into it, man. What do you think about the story here?
Well, the plot is nothing to write home about. It's, Batman has to find a Riddler who's terrorizing Gotham, and he has to find him before he literally brings Gotham to its knees with all, exposing all these lies. And I gave it a 5. It's nothing like, new. It's nothing like innovative, but it's just the way it was done, which made the movie good.
Yeah, I do like the way they took like this kind of like mystery approach. They kind of took the more detective angle for Batman, which was cool. It kind of had like a a neo-noir feel to it. Get the femme fatale with Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
She's in need of help, right? She's trying to find her friend, and then you have Pattinson's character as Batman, who is pretty much Batman throughout this whole movie.
Yes,
right?
This movie was a literal Batman movie, because if you came here for Playboy Bruce Wayne, this ain't it, Chief.
No, this definitely isn't it. And so, it was actually kind of striking, because I'm used to some of these other Batmans where he's kind of hiding in the shadows and very mysterious, right? And this one, he's literally just walking around in the suit, like in broad daylight in front of people. So it was a little
vengeance.
Weird. Yeah. Everyone's calling him Vengeance too, which is a little strange. But overall, the overall story to me, fairly linear. You could pretty much tell right away where it's going. We all know who the villain is from the trailer, so there's not really a lot of surprises there. So in terms of just actual story and plot, I gave it a 5. It was just kind of right down the middle, right, for me.
Absolutely.
Would you give it for score?
I gave it a 5. I gave it a 5 as well, just because I did like the whole film noir, old school with the voiceover and everything. I like that. I was going to get into that a little bit later on, but the plot itself, the story itself was not pedestrian, but it didn't break any ground.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get into the production on this movie too. So this was a different take, but for me, it kind of straddled the line a little bit. It was like a mix of like kind of like the gothicness of like Tim Burton's Batman. I'm thinking of like Wayne Tower specifically, with the architecture on the inside. It almost reminds me of like Spain. But also too, some of the color tones that kind of remind me of Nolan, and some of actual Gotham City remind me of Nolan too. So it was kind of like almost in between for me. I don't know. The music was cool. I like the Nirvana song that they sprinkled in there for us. That was cool. Kind of a nod towards us, but I can't get over this Batman suit. And I know it's year 2. All right. And he's trying to work out the kinks, but it's weird. Right.
You feel like this is like the beginning. I think like somewhere in the movie, this is only his second year as Batman. Like they mentioned that. And look, guys, if you're coming into this movie thinking it's going to be like big action, big special effects, Fast and Furious style action, it's not going to be it either. This is more harken back to the legit old school Batman, where He's a detective. Like the Penguin even said it, the world's greatest detective. And I still gave it a 19 because the score,
Ooh,
the sound. Yeah, babe, I'm coming in. I'm all in on this movie.
here we go.
Yeah, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the score. I liked every bit of that. And I like that the whole movie, I was thinking, this is the movie Seven, but with Batman as a detective. That's how the feel of it, the mood of it was, especially with the whole Riddler being like a Zodiac killer, serial killer kind of deal, leaving the riddles, living the ciphers, which I really liked. So I gave it a big 19 out of 20, man. It was just good. I bet you in the second go around, if I watch this again, I'll probably like it even more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put some water on that fire right now.
Oh,
All right.
oh,
It just wasn't that impressive for me. I felt like I said, I felt like it straddled the line. It kind of struggled a little bit with me too. Like when I first saw the trailer in my mind, I don't know. I thought this was going to be almost like a period piece, like the Joker was, where it was kind of set like in the 70s or
right.
early 80s. I thought this was going to be something like that, but there was times where you could almost think that, but then there was other times with the technology and stuff where it was obviously modern. So it was kind of confusing for me a little bit. Also too, I mean, the costumes, like I talked about that, but even the Catwoman's costume, like the whole like beanie, like
it wasn't really a costume. Yeah, it wasn't really like
the eye hole cut out. Like I'm half tempted to ask you right now to pull down that beanie and see if you got the eye holes cut out just the way Zoe did. All right. Because it was just so half-assed. It was just like, okay, like, all right, that's it. And then again, getting back to the whole Nolan thing. Okay, we got like a masked villain, with his voice distorted. We got Catwoman running around. We got, these blowing up the bridges and everything around Gotham City. It reminded me very much of the last Nolan movie. Like it just seemed a little borrowed at times to me. So I don't know. I give it a 15 overall.
Okay.
It was okay, but I wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be from the trailer. I thought it was going to be a little more something else, but let's get into the performances. I mean, that's really what this is about. We got a new Batman here. Robert Pattinson. How do you think he did?
I mean, it's almost a cop-out because he didn't have to play both sides of Batman. He only literally had to play Batman. You didn't see any of Bruce Wayne, which I believe, like, if there's going to be, ongoing sequels with this, I think it's going to be more of the evolution of Bruce Wayne's character instead of Batman's character. I mean, he did a good job as Batman itself because, he had the jawline, which the mask was even more different than like a lot of the other Batman because it showed his whole jaw instead of like just like weird. this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, Zoe Kravitz, striking woman, very striking woman. I think I heard a girl moan when she first came on the screen when I watched it. Like, but let's not sure? Like.
And that wasn't from you. It was just audible.
It was me. And Circus as Alfred, which he wasn't. I mean, he didn't really have a big part, but he's definitely no Jeremy Irons, and he's definitely no Michael Caine as Alfred.
Right.
But let's not like the things about this Batman movies are always the villains, right? Mm-hmm. And man, Paul Dano as Riddler ate this roll up. You really believe that he's like the psychotic guy who's pretty much, he was all about the likes and subscribers also at the very end.
I know, which was weird, right? When he's at the end where they're showing him talking to his viewers.
He's like
together.
Make sure to subscribe to the Nightcap. All right, before I expose the lies.
No more lies.
and then almost unrecognizable Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yes.
That he killed it too. Even though he was pretty much playing Robert De Niro as Penguin.
True.
But I mean, and it's good because he's gonna have an offshoot. He's gonna have his own show on HBO Max also, which should be pretty good also.
Oh, okay.
So I give the acting 22 out of 30 just because of the performance of the villains, because you can't really gauge like Pattinson's performance because, like I said, it wasn't like the full scope of Batman and Bruce Wayne. Yeah,
I give it a 20. Here's the thing. When we talked about this when the trailer was coming out, he's still too skinny. All right. I don't know. I don't know what his problem is or here, but I like they did like the close-up shot of like his shoulders, like trying to like make him look kind of like built a little bit. And then they would like pull back a little bit and you see these skinny little arms, you know what I mean? And I'm having a hard time believing this guy's going to go into a room full of like tough guys and be the toughest guy in the room.
I mean, it looks like, I get it. Like he didn't blast any gear in order to get buff for this part. All right. There's definitely, you don't have to do a natty or not on him because he's natty. but it seemed like he still had purpose. Like it wasn't like he was like skinny fat or anything, like, and the suit kind of filled it out.
The suit definitely helped. Definitely helped on that. But as far as his actual role, I mean, he spent so much time really not talking, playing the detective in it. He wasn't bad by any means, but there wasn't a lot of charisma there for me either. As far as Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I thought she was okay. She's remarkably short, by the way, because I'm watching her through this movie. She's like in like 6-inch heels, and she's really short. I'm like, how tall is that? I had to look it up on Google. She's 5 feet, at least per Google. And they always pad those numbers. So
wow.
I'm scared to know what she actually really is in real life, because she's tiny. So just watching her kind of do her stunts and everything, it was a little harder to believe than watching like Anne Hathaway, where she's much more. It sounds weird saying it, but imposing woman compared to, I guess, the 5 foot Kravitz. But honestly, Kravitz probably had the most charisma when she was on the screen, so I'll give her that. Like you said, Penguin, I thought actually Colin Farrell's performance was actually pretty good. Looking at the trailer, I was kind of like, what? It had him in makeup, everything. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I thought he did a pretty good job, even if it was kind of, one dimensional. I'll tell you who I wasn't impressed with. And what's the actor's name who played Falcone? He's in a bunch of movies.
Oh, he was in The Big Lebowski. Totoro?
Yeah, Totoro. I think I'm saying his name probably a little bit wrong, but he just doesn't have, just me personally, I'm not a big fan of him in like serious like roles. I kind of see him, he's almost more of like a comic character. Yeah. And as this kind of like, Falcone's a central villain almost in this. And he just doesn't have that gravity in it. I don't know, just to really make you kind of like bump heads with Batman. I just didn't really see it. He's not the mastermind either. He's just kind of this kind of sly character. So overall, it was just kind of whatever. As far as Wright playing Lieutenant Gordon or Commissioner Gordon, I don't know if he assumed that role. I thought he did pretty good. And but overall, it was just, like I said, it was just average. I gave it a 20 out of 30 for that one. But let's get into the directing here. And this is kind of where I have a lot of my beef. There was just a lot of like, for me, a little like inconsistencies in the story itself that just would kind of ate at me a little bit the more I watched it. Like in terms of some of the action, some of the damage shots. I mean, one thing, Batman, he's taking like just gunshots, just bouncing, ricocheting off his chest, and he's like barely showing any like recoil from like just the blast of it, right? At least like you think like Michael Keaton's Batman, he gets shot, he like falls down, but then he gets back up, right? Because I mean, just because you have body armor on doesn't mean you're,
This is a more advanced suit, and he's like, not on gear, so maybe the muscle isn't like making him fall back or something. I don't know, Steve. You're looking too deep into this.
Well, okay. Well, ask me this then. Well, think about the part right where the DA gets his head blown off. Batman is literally there, point blank range, not a scratch on him, not a scratch. At the time, I was like, what? And then later on, we got Alfred. He takes an explosion, which is further away from him. The dude's out for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but he's like not in a bat suit, and he's not in the cowl, and he was just like in his like suspenders and like a shirt. But he's not in like a full on plated bat suit. We don't know what that suit's made of. Some high tech stuff.
This is year 2, right? This is year 2. Okay, just making sure. Right? Yeah, I don't know. There was just a few things that I just thought were just kind of ridiculous. Also, too, in terms of like the storytelling for the director, like it just didn't have a climax of action for me. I was thinking like, I'm like, there's not a lot of tension here, because even in terms of like the detective story, we already know who the bad guy is. We're waiting for him to figure it out, right? And as the audience, we're ahead of him. And then they never really had like this giant climax. They kind of played out in the, in the interrogation room, if you will. Again, a la Batman and Joker. Yeah. But it just didn't have the same intensity. You have the part at the end where he's rescuing people. But, I kind of wanted to see him have it out, the same way you would see, Batman battle the villain, the super bad guy. So I don't know. For me, it just was lacking in a lot of places. I ended up giving it a 19.
Oh, well, I mean, there's not going to be a big, punch out with the villain, considering the villain is not physically imposing. It's not Bane that he's fighting, but honestly, with Matt Reeves of Planet of the Apes fame, when, the gorilla jumped from the bridge to the helicopter and Cloverfield, which I loved also, I'm going to give the guy a 25. All right.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to give the guy a 25 just because.
Explain yourself, sir.
I get it. It's a grind. It's 3 hours.
It feels 3 hours too, by the way.
Yes. But you just got to give it to the guy wrangling everything in, with the difficulty of working with Pattinson, from what I've read, the difficulty of like heavy expectations on rebooting another big tentpole movie franchise. And especially one where it's not going to be a typical reboot where it's going to be big action and all that. He still did a great job. He gave you an alternative of what a superhero movie should be, which is a more adult, more mature, more gritty, more dirty, like version
Definitely
of
more
Batman.
dirty. It was filthy.
Yeah.
Gotham City is filthy.
Gotham City, it always rains 6 to 7 days a week, and it's always dark because I don't even see. I don't know if there was any daytime scenes, and even the daytime scenes were always cloudy.
One of the scene, kind of a side note too, like made me laugh was the part where he goes into that club and he pulls out the DA, and and like no one's supposed to know that all these like high ranking police officers are there. Apparently everyone's clueless, because I love it too, because the guy parked his car right in the front. He's like, "Hey, you want to ride?" Like, I parked like right in front of the iceberg or whatever it was, the ice lounge or whatever. I was just like, oh my gosh,
he's ready for the malcontents to come home with him. So but like the whole film noir old school style voiceover, man, this could have been from the 30s, and I love throwbacks. I'm an old soul, so I gave the guy a 25.
Oh man. All right, well, I think you're going with your heart on that one, because I just don't see it, but
I always go with the heart.
I know you do. Let's go ahead and get into the X Factor. You know what? I think I know what you're going to say. I think everyone at home knows what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But why don't you go ahead? Maybe you'll surprise us. I don't know.
I gave it a 10.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I'm back. When I don't know, I can't remember the last time I gave a movie a 10. So it's been a while. Usually before I was like handing out 10s. Like left and right, like, these strippers.
If you don't give it a 10, Gabe gets mad in the comments. He leaves.
It's like, what the fuck's going on? Well, I gave it a 10 just because I try to avoid a lot of the rumors and spoilers for this movie. So the little tease at the end at Arkham with Joker, you were like, hey, I wasn't expecting that. So that's going to be, if you want a big punch up, maybe the next one was going to have him and a Joker having a big old fisticuffs fist fight.
Yeah, that's what I want. All right. I want Pattinson on the juice. All right.
Yeah. Much like me and you when it comes to the Raiders and the Niners game. I'm just gonna box it out. And I like where this is going in terms of, I'm sure there's gonna be, it broke like, second largest box office during the COVID era. So I'm sure there's gonna be sequels. So it's gonna be cool to see the evolution of Bruce Wayne this time, not the evolution of Batman, but Bruce Wayne. You got a little touch of it because, in the very beginning, I'm vengeance. And towards the end, where that shot, the overhead shot with him guiding the people with the light. Yeah. Now he's the light, Yeah,
that was pretty ham-fisted, if you ask me. But yeah.
And even the Riddler said that too. He's like, bring him to the light. And then, came full circle, bring him to the light. You get it, Steve? You get it?
I got it.
Ugh. And this is going to open up the whole new universe for Batman, because there's going to be, like I said, the Penguin HBO show. And then they announced that they're going to be a horror show based on Arkham Asylum of this universe as well. So 10 out of 10, my friend.
This is the thing, is I didn't give it a 10. All right. I gave it a 3 and I was being generous. Right? This movie wasn't very good. All right. I'm just going to call right now. And all there's going to be a bunch of fanboys here talking themselves into why this movie is so great. Look it. Just be honest, guys. Grab a mirror. Look yourself in the mirror and say, really, do we really need this movie? Did they need to rush this movie out? We literally just buried Christian Bale's Batman, not so long ago. This one should have stayed in the oven a little bit longer. This is one of those things you pull out of the oven. It looks like it's finished, but it's all raw.
Gooey inside.
Yeah, exactly. I think this one just didn't really quite line for me. Maybe the next one, they'll tighten it up. It'd be better. Maybe they give it to a new director. Maybe that's what it needs. I don't know.
No. I think Matt Reeves did a bang up job.
For me, this one just didn't land. I was disappointed. And I was looking forward to this. I went, all happy, shaking my tail, went to the movie theaters, got my popcorn. All right. I was ready to go. Right. Risking my life out there during a pandemic. And I just walked out, like just shaking my head, just making that sneaky face. Like, what was this? What was that?
I mean, you're not alone in your awful take. All right. Because even the group of friends I went with, half of them really liked it like myself. And half of them kind of said like, it could have been boring. A couple of them were checking their times on their clocks on their watches and like phones to be like, how long is this fucking movie? I get it. It was a grind, but in the end, it was still great to me. That's just my opinion. Majority of the opinion for everybody. So
overall score, I ended up giving it 62.
Ooh,
what'd you give it?
I gave it 81.
81. All right, there's my boy.
So go out there, watch this movie, and it's definitely a grind, but I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, let's kick it to the people at home. If you guys have had a chance to watch it, let us know what you guys think. What do you think of this new era of Batman? Matt Reeves is this world that he's created here. And, the characters in it. We got the Penguin, the Riddler, this Catwoman here. So it's interesting. Are you guys excited about it? Were you like me? Were you a little disappointed? Were you like Al? Are you, stoked, ready for the next one already? Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let us know why we're wrong. Any feedback is good feedback. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And also leave any comments too of any other movies you guys want to see us do. Coming up as we're getting into the spring into summertime here. So we're looking forward to seeing those as well. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. What else we got coming up, Al? Anything else big we need to review?
No, because we're starting early with the big blockbuster, but I don't think another one is going to come out until May, I believe. The big one that's going to come out is obviously Doctor Strange, and for May, that's going to be the huge one that everyone's going to be gobbling up, yours truly included.
All right. Well, then until next time, everyone at home, stay safe out there, everybody. Peace in the East, and catch you on the next one.
See you guys later.